I'm 35 today. I made it. This is the oldest I've ever been in my entire life. You know how some people, they're like 70 years old? Really, they just live the same year over and over and over. I haven't just been alive for 35 years. I have lived every single one of those years. These are some of the most important things that I've ever discovered in my entire life. I tried to think of everything that would be most important for my, my 19 or 20, 21-year-old self to realize, to know. If only my 19-year-old self would have listened, this is exactly what I would say. And just to give you a little bit of context here. So in my 35 years, I've started two companies, one of which failed miserably. The other one is doing perfectly well. It's what I do full-time book influencer. I've fought heavyweight boxing fights in Russia. I used to own an international record label with dozens of bands all over the world. Some of my bands were in record stores. I've read 1,400 books. I've lived in India. I've gone on meditation retreats in the jungles of Costa Rica. I was a nightclub bouncer for like 12 years. I've just packed so much, like as much as I possibly could, into these 35 years. Now, I'm also not going to sit here and tell you that my life's completely perfect in every way, but I'm pretty damn happy. I'm fit, well read, successful. I do exactly what the hell I want to do every single day. I wake up in the morning and I read books, I train hard, I do fulfilling work, I help as many people as I can, I read some more, and then I go to bed and then I wake up and do it all over again. And I know for a fact that a large part of that is directly because of some of these 35 lessons that I'm going to share. So I'm not going to spend any more time. I've been talking for long enough. I'm going to try and wrap this up before my 36th birthday. But the first one, and I think this could really help you, is you should be prepared to live a very, very long time. Yes, you should absolutely have stupid amounts of fun in your 20s. I definitely did, and I don't regret that whatsoever. But I feel like if I had a longer term focus, like if I knew back then, if I really internalized just how long my life could actually be, I would have done a few things differently, and I would have been even further ahead than I am now. And listen, so I'm 35. Like people now are living well into their 90s, hundreds, and beyond. So like by the time I am 100 years old, let's say, there will be 65 more years of medical progress and technological advances, and like 65 years from now, like you could take a pill for cancer. There's actually this great book by Tony Robbins called Life Force, and it just details like just the crazy like science fiction stuff that's either here now or it's coming really, really soon. You should seriously expect to live a very, very long time. And yeah, like have fun today, but do these things that are going to compound in your favor and do them as early and as often as you possibly can. And a few of those things are coming up later in this video. But second would be to create a 100-year plan for your life. If you're predicting that you're going to live for a very long time, which you should, if you're operating under that assumption, then you should have a somewhat detailed plan for the next 100 years of your life. You can change your mind, something that you want now, maybe you want something completely different, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, 60 years from now. Even thinking that way is just going to help you out a lot. And then the next one is to get really strategic about time management. What I mean by that is that there are certain choices that you make that have a disproportionate impact on the amount of time that you're going to have in the future. If you take one job, you work from home, you have 0 minutes of commute every single morning to get to work. Say there's an equal job. Every other thing about this job is completely the same, except it's an hour away. By you choosing to take that other job that's further away, you're sacrificing 5 hours per week, which adds up to a tremendous amount of time over the course of a year. And if you're with that company or in that job for decades, that's an awful lot of time that you're sacrificing. And a lot of people just don't think about that in terms of time management, how choices like that can impact the amount of time that you can have in the future. And it even dictates like what you work on now, whether you decide to start your own business. If you run your own business and it's set up in the proper way, you can delegate a lot of your tasks and you can work, not right away. You're going to work a ton in the beginning, but say like, in year 5, year 6, of your business, when you're doing really, really well, you can just buy other people's hours. Like you can buy hours of other people's lives, and you can just take the day off like whenever you want, like go see a movie. I do that all the time, just in the middle of the afternoon. It's awesome. And so yeah, just get really strategic about time management. The next is to never ever ever waste time. Time is literally what your life is made of. If you waste time, you're literally wasting your life. It's one of those things that people have said this for literally thousands of years. You'll be so careful about not spending money, you throw away your time like it's nothing. There's another fantastic book by this Roman philosopher Seneca. It's called On the Shortness of Life, and that's exactly what he says in that book. Like you throw away your time like it's nothing, but then you're all like frugal about your money. And that makes no sense whatsoever. By being intentional about this, you can literally save yourself years and years, like decades of your life by just being intentional about time. You don't need my permission about anything, but like you have my permission if you need it or want it. Just be like fanatical about time. Just like be eccentric as fuck. And like I don't swear too much on this channel, but time and not wasting any of it is one thing that I take really fucking seriously. So, please don't waste time. Next, read great books. And more specifically, read the best book that you know of right now. Don't just read anything. You can read whatever you want. Again, like you don't need my permission for anything. Just read what you want. There's only a certain number of books that you're going to have time, like mathematically, to read in your entire life. So you can't afford, like you literally can't afford, in terms of time, to read like a book that's kind of less than the best book that you can possibly read in that moment. Obviously, if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll get tons of recommendations from me, and there's a link to my newsletter. About 7,300 people are on that newsletter as of the time I'm recording this. So you'll get a ton of great book recommendations from me, but just read the best book that you know of right now. Next, one thing I'd absolutely recommend is reading books on your phone. I've got 5 or 6 different book apps on my phone. There's nothing like having like a physical book in your hand. Like there's almost literally nothing better. There's just something about it. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. At the same time, like you can't always take a physical book with you, but as much as you can, like don't let the fact that you don't have a physical book with you stop you from reading. It goes back to salvaging those 5 minute spaces of time that everybody just wastes. Just by saving like 5, 10 minutes a day, you can read literally dozens more books every single year. And the math is actually pretty insane. Number 7, your mind is absolutely everything. Everything you will see, feel, experience, know about the world, everything. Your mental states, how much you enjoy your life, it is entirely 100% dictated by the state of your mind, your mental state. Knowing that, you have to do whatever it takes to protect it and defend it. Defend what gets in there, the influences that you're letting in your mind, the books that you're reading, obviously. But Earl Nightingale said it best, and he's kind of paraphrasing the Buddha, but what he said is that you become what you think about. You become what you think about. I protect my mind like with my life because the quality of your mind will dictate the quality of your life, and that is just so like 100% true. And whatever you can do to improve your mental state and just defend your mental health at all costs. And again, I mean, I'm gonna keep pushing books on you for this entire video, and you're just going to have to accept it. A very big reason of why I'm 35 and happy and like mentally free is from reading all of the best books that I possibly could. Different authors and experiences and ideas, like they're all just smashing into each other inside my mind. But it's not like silly, stupid, negative shit. I don't have any time for that. Okay, number 8. I know I said that your mind is everything, but your health is actually everything. You get one body. It's so perfectly tuned, and like it will do such amazing things. If you actually protect it and you go to extreme lengths to defend it, protect it, and to improve it. Like just you get one. Like if you were just given a supercar of on the day you were born, and somehow you could drive when you were a baby. If you had a supercar, but you were only allowed one, you would put the best possible fuel, like food, like physical fuel, mental fuel. You would just give it the absolute best, and like you would not accept anything less. And you would drive. Like obviously, you push the limits sometimes, but other times you would drive carefully, and like you would protect it, and you would know how valuable it is, and like that is your health. And like far too many people, they spend like their entire lives, they spend time and energy like making money, and then they get to the end of their life and they spend all of their money trying to get their health back. And it does not have to be that way. Like it just doesn't. And if you prioritize that early on, you're just going to be so much further ahead. I know that I said your health is everything, but actually, your family is everything. My family and I get along so extremely well, and like I love them. Like my mom and dad specifically. Like we're so close, and like we do everything for each other as much as we can with each other. We are like 100% there, like for each other all the time. A massive part of your health and happiness and mental health is going to come from, close family relationships. A lot of other things could be going wrong in your life, but if you have, family with you, if you have people who care about you, more than you care about yourself, then you're going to be okay. And it can make up for an awful lot of things that are going wrong or things that you might not like about your life. I went through periods when I did not have a whole lot of money like whatsoever. There were times, man. I know like some people's family relationships are all over the place, and it's like it's like some people have sad situations where that's concerned. But man, if you don't like, call your call your mom. She misses you. I guess that's what I'm gonna say. And now I'm gonna move on. Okay, number 10, start investing as early as you possibly can. I left this, for far, far too long. And like it's I don't have too many regrets, but I could have found more money, in my early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, to put into my investment accounts. Even though I'm fine now, I could have been in such better shape if I just intentionally invested more money. And really, I mean, they say it all the time, but it's absolutely true. Like the younger that you start, like the less money you have to put away, when you're younger, to have literally millions of dollars when you're older. And all it takes is just like funneling some money that you're not even going to miss. Like you can just automatically have it transferred from your bank account, like on payday or whatever, to your investment accounts. And like you won't even notice that it's gone, but it's going to quietly be building wealth for your entire life. And like as early as you can start that process, it's just, man, it's going to be so much better. So start investing early. Okay, so number 11 is one that I absolutely crushed, and that's get a job where you can work on yourself. And for me, what that looked like was I immediately, upon turning 19, which is the legal drinking age here in Canada, I immediately got a job downtown as a nightclub bouncer. And I also later on started work as another security job at a hospital overnight. And what that did, like that did so much more for me than like the very, believe me, the very meager pay. Like those jobs obviously pay like next to nothing, but it wasn't about that. Like at the bar, I had so much fun. Like I went in there like a 19-year-old kid who didn't know how to talk to people, didn't know like anything about anything. Working that job, it taught me how to stand up for myself. It taught me how to like talk to women, how to listen to everybody. There were thousands of people, like at least hundreds and hundreds of new people that I would meet every single night. So I'd have like diverse experiences and like interesting conversations. Yes, I even got paid for being there. I learned how to stand up for myself and just like a whole bunch of things. And I got paid to hang out, listen to music and just like spend time with my friends. And I was making money instead of being downtown spending money on drinks. So tons of fantastic things about that. And you don't have to like get a job at a bar, but like think about a job that you can do that will give you so much more than just money. And for me, that was the bar. And then the hospital job, man. Okay, so I worked that job maybe 4 or 5 nights a week for about like 10, 11 years. And that's literally like the only way that I would have been able to read 1,000 books before I turned 30. And right now, 35, obviously, I've read close to like just under 1,400 books. And the only reason I was able to do that was because of that job. Because overnight, nothing happened. Like the busiest night, like the entire week, I would have maybe 6 hours. 6 hours, like on the busy nights, to read. And I show up with my tray of coffees and my stack of books, and I would sit and read. Nobody would bother me, and like I'd have my meals, and like I'd leave work in the morning. It was 8 to 8, and I'd go to the gym, and then I'd go to bed, and then wake up and do it all over again. 1,400 books. It's just insane. And again, just like, it gives you so much more than just a paycheck. So if you can find a job that does something for you besides pay you money, then just go for it. Which leads into number 12, which is that you should become a world-class listener. And like this will change your life in just so many ways. And again, I learned that critical skill at the bar. And like most people just like they talk. They're not even listening to you. They're waiting for you to stop talking so they can say something. Don't be that person. Don't do that. Listen to people. One, you will find out things that they're saying. They're saying important stuff to you, and if you like listen to them, you'll find out that important stuff. I mean, I'm half serious, but everyone is interesting if you pay attention enough. Like if you go like deep enough into who they are, everybody is interesting. I believe that. And people notice when you're actually listening to them, when you're there with them. One of my favorite philosophers, Simone Weil, she was like one of the best listeners that I've ever heard about. Like when you were talking to her, apparently, I mean, she died during World War II, but when she was right in front of you, she was completely there listening to you. And like that's a special quality that you feel that people notice that they'll think better of you, and like it'll change everything, man. So become a world-class listener. Next, treat invisible people well. And I mean, bouncers, security guards, waiters, maintenance workers, like basically anyone who is like traditionally invisible, like sort of looked over in society, like nobody really pays attention to them. Like pay attention to those people. Just be nice to them. Be cool. Like it costs you nothing. It means everything to them, and it's just like you're just a better person for doing that. And those types of people, they're ignored. They're not seen by others. And like that's a very like that's a pretty rough way to go through life, not being seen by anybody. And like if you can actually see people, that means a lot to them, and it'll change you as well. So it's important. Okay, so 14, another thing that I learned at the bar. Neediness is like the most repulsive quality that you could ever have. Like just ever display. Like not just in business relationships, but I think where it shows up the most is in romantic relationships, or like, if there's somebody that you're interested in. Basically, the less that you need them, the more they'll want you. Just because somebody said no, when you ask them on a date, doesn't mean no forever. But at the same time, like don't just keep asking them and hanging on and just being always there and just desperate. It's one of just the most repulsive things that just don't do it. Okay, so 15 is interesting on the dating front too. So, and this is more so for, for men, like that's who I'm talking to here. It's a reality that for anybody, like any woman that you want, you're competing against every other guy that wants her, basically. I mean, if I'm just being brutally honest here, which I hope that I am, I'm sure you've heard that stat of like most women want somebody over 6 feet, like making more than $100,000 a year. Like that's what most like women are going after, right? So that's a very small section of the male population. And like that's if that's not you, then like how do you compete? It goes even deeper than that. When you get to a certain level, like everybody has that. You could be like 6'2" and you could make $150,000 a year, right? Like that's fantastic. That puts you ahead of so many men who like are like in that dating field as well. But like that's not enough. Like there are like Major League Baseball players like in her DMs, super famous people, like people with like yachts. Like you can't compete on that because there's always going to be somebody who's better looking than you, who has more money than you, has more followers than you. Like you're not going to be able to compete on that. So compete on swag. Compete on just not giving a fuck. Detached from outcome. Again, this goes back to like non-neediness. Like you do not need this to work out. You don't need her. There's 4 billion of her and there's one of you. Like compete on that. Like get your like 100x the level of swag that you use, like that you embody. It makes such a massive difference. If you don't need them, then they'll want you. Again, it's just how it works. And actually, because I've got this book right here, one I will recommend. It's The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Absolutely fantastic book, and it's just man, like read this again and again and again, and it'll teach you so much. And actually, there's another one of my favorite Robert Greene books that's not talked about as much. It's another one called The Art of Seduction, and that one's really good as well. Kind of ties into more what we're talking about here. But yeah, just compete on swag. Yeah, go after the money and status type things. At a certain level, you have that, and so does everybody else. So how do you compete against people like that? And for me, like at the bar, like there were so many times, like ridiculous numbers of times when some dummy in a suit would walk up to like a girl that I was talking to and me, and I just like I outcompeted them on swag so much. Like it wasn't even close. And like that is like the difference maker. And like it's not like yeah, those things help. Like if you're like 6'2" fitness model, I'm 6'4", like you can have all of those things and that's great. But if you don't have swag, like you can have all of those fantastic qualities, but if you're needy, like if you like need her, then it's just not going to work out. So, yeah, moving on. Okay, 16, always carry a book with you wherever you go as much as possible. I know it's not always possible, but like I say, if you're never without a book, you'll never be without a date. It's not just like for dating, it's one of those things, man. People are smart, they don't pay attention. So you can influence somebody's perception of you just by holding a book. Books are what people associate, at least in our society, with smart people, with intelligence. Just by holding a book, you transfer the book's qualities to you. You become seen by others as like an intellectual person. And like it's just don't ask me how that works. Just always carry a book with you. Like it's just like it's night and day. Like how people will like treat you and like that shouldn't be the case, but it is. So just work with it. Always carry a book with you. Trust me. See, if I was 18, I'd be done by now. But next one is always tip 100% at the bar. And this is just a quick tip here. It works better if you don't drink all that much, if you don't typically spend a whole lot of money. But for myself, I'm perfectly capable and willing to go out to a bar and have one drink. And like some people will buy me drinks, and sometimes I'll accept, sometimes I won't, whatever. But typically I'll just buy one drink. And one drink does not cost all that much. And even here, I mean, I'm just going to round up to $10, right? So say like a beer costs you $10. You tipping 100%, it's just $20. Like that's it. Like you won't even notice it. It's kind of like investing automatically. You won't notice at all. But you just tipped the bartender 100%. And bartenders remember stuff like that. Like they pay attention to, the people who are tipping, right? And eventually, I mean, sure, they'll catch on that, hey, you're not spending a whole lot of money. But if you do go up for your next drink and they know that you tipped 100% the first time, and say you're bringing some other person up with you, or what have you, it doesn't have to be like a romantic thing. I'm not big on buying drinks for women. I typically don't do that. But like it just could be like your guy friend or whatever. You will be served so much faster because the bartender knows that you tipped them 100% the last time. So quick tip there, use it, always works. 18 is fitness tip. Focus on like the compound lifts, like bench press, squats, deadlifts, things like that. Pull ups are really good, like overhead press, things like that. The stuff that recruits the most, like the highest number of muscle fibers, that results in the most hypertrophy. I recorded that so many times. I've been talking so long, I need like a drink of water before I can pronounce hypertrophy. But just like focus on the lifts that are going to make the biggest difference. And it's those lifts, the ones that are more difficult, and the lifts that most people just don't want to do because they're hard. If you do those things, you will get results that are just so far beyond what everybody else will get. And man, really, I should have included that as like a separate lesson in these messages. Maybe I will, my 36th birthday. But like, just always go for the hard thing. And it's like there's something about like doing it the hard way. Okay, so moving on, learn from people who have lost everything, because then you'll realize that like it's not so bad. You can recover from anything, especially if you do it like if you make all your mistakes early enough, you'd still have tons of time to recover. And going back to what we were talking about before, like you could be like super young and you can have 100 years left to make up for some mistake, some like risk, quote unquote, risk that you took in your early 20s, and you have a lot of time to make up for that and not so much time when you're older. And one thing that you'll notice is that there are tons of people who have lost really important things, and like it's a lot. Like it's like objectively bad for those things to happen to you, but at the same time, those people recovered. Like we overestimate the degree to which we're just going to be devastated by negative adverse events. Like we think that it's going to just ruin our entire lives when that's not actually true. Like we're going to recover eventually with enough time, you put in enough work, and you're going to make it through that. And that's what you can learn from people who have lost everything. Next, again, on the fitness side, track everything. Track all your meals, your workouts, your water, because it's very, very easy to trick yourself or to forget like what you actually ate, things that you don't expect to have calories in them, or just like things that you just don't remember eating or not eating. Those can all dramatically influence the results that you get in terms of fitness. So track everything. I use MyFitnessPal. It's just an app on your phone. It's not a sponsor of this channel or anything. It's just what I use, and like all my like water intake goes in there. I never lose track of what I've eaten or drank so far. Just track everything, because you can't trust your memory. Going along with that, you should take notes on everything every single thing that you read. And I've done that with every single book that I've read since 2014. They're all on my Patreon. Click the link in the video description. You can get all of my book notes from 1,400 books. But it's literally one of the best things that I ever accidentally started doing. It was actually a Robert Greene book, The 48 Laws of Power, that I was reading like years and years ago. I was reading a few books at the same time. I was reading Crime and Punishment, The Power of Now, and the Laws of Power. And at that time, like there's so much fantastic stuff in all of those books that I was like, man, I have to write this down. Like I will forget this. So that's exactly what I did. I just used my phone, and I mean, I'm not going to detail my whole system because I'm going to get through this video a little bit faster. But basically, I take notes on every single thing, and like everything that I don't want to ever forget from the books that I've read. And there's an awful lot of stuff. Like I literally have thousands and thousands of pages of notes and quotes and ideas, like life-changing ideas from the 1,400 books that I've read. And if you just like you read it, you skim your eyes over a page, just like super fast, like speed reading or whatever. Don't speed read, by the way. It doesn't work. But like if you do that, you're just gonna forget everything. So take notes on every single thing. And moving on to the next thing, another thing you should take note of is your friends and business contacts, all of their birthdays. I actually go one step further, and this sounds so lame when I when I say it out loud, but I literally keep a list of my friends. And what I'll do is every so often I'll go through that list and see who I haven't talked to in a while. Because I mean, if you have a lot of friends and you have, people that you went to high school with or you work with now or you met on that trip once, years ago, it's very easy to lose track of people, right? So if you have like the most critical relationships of your life all in one place, and just like you don't have to add their contact information, but you can do that. That helps. You could just use Facebook for their birthdays or what have you. But sometimes like what I'll do is I'll have like a business contact, and I'll add their birthday to like my little note. And a few days before, like the day before their birthday, I'll message them and wish them like a happy birthday or happy early birthday. Just anybody can message them on their birthday when they see the thing come up on Facebook, but you have to actually, like, it's a signal that you really care about the relationship and you care about them. They notice that you wish them a happy birthday before, like you made that extra effort to remember their birthday and get in touch early. It's one of those things, just like listening really well, like people notice those things. It sets you apart from everybody else who's just like they see like a notification pop up on Facebook and kind of like write a little message. And like those are cool. But if you want to like go one step further, and you should go through the list every so often so you stay up to date. Next, number 23, super important. Question everything. And I mean literally everything. Everything you hear, everything you see, everything you read, like literally everything you take in through your senses. One of my favorite authors is Jiddu Krishnamurti, and he died in the 90s, I believe. Again, I'm not going to launch into a big story, but he was originally like slated to be like he was supposed to take over this cult. Basically, they were training him to be some sort of like quote world teacher and things like that. And the very day that he was supposed to assume leadership of this organization, he gave a speech called "Truth is a Pathless Land." And in that speech, he basically said, listen to yourself, like turn inwards. Don't rely on any sort of external authority or teacher or prophet or anything like that. All of the answers are within you. And like it's so like super, super important. Question everything. Which leads into number 24, which is always ask the dumb question. The only dumb question is the question that you never ask. Nobody's ever going to think less of you for asking a question. And odds are, like, you're the only person in that room who actually had the courage to stand up and risk looking stupid by asking that question. And once you get an answer, you're smarter than you were before. You learned something, and that's going to work in your favor much more than any sort of like embarrassment you might feel. Like none of that matters. Just ask the question. Next, I'll just say that it's never crowded along the extra mile. See, most people just put in the bare minimum of effort. Like they don't care. They show up to work, they clock in, they do the bare minimum, and they leave. And the results that they get are exactly what you'd expect from people who do that. They get nothing, or at least nothing compared to what, the people who are willing to just go that extra step. Like it's like as lame as it sounds, it's never crowded along the extra mile. So just go for it. Do more, like over promise and over deliver. Do so much that it's like unreasonable to expect that you won't be successful. 27, you should realize that most people will just fold. Most people will just give up when it gets too difficult. And that kind of extends from the last point here, but it's very, very true. So even if like somebody that you're competing against maybe, or who's like in a similar field, or like who has something that you want, or is like in your way, stopping you somehow. I'll put it this way, like the world tends to stand aside for the person who knows exactly what they want and who goes directly for it. And like most people, when you challenge them, when you step up to them, they'll just back down and like they're not going to do shit. So again, I mean, that kind of like brings me back to my counselor days. But like most people are just not going to do shit, and they're not going to like stand up to you or like give you like they're not going to put up that much of a fight. So just realize that, just punch your way forward, and most people will basically stand aside. Now, 28 was a major path to freedom for me. So start a business if you want to be free. And like okay, so like I'm not going to launch into a big story. Lots of businesses, like when people start a business, they just basically start a job, or they give themselves a job. They don't make much money in the business, and they just work longer hours. The only difference is that like they don't have a boss. If you do it correctly, and one of my best business book recommendations is The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. That book literally changed everything for me. I'll put my notes to that book down in the video description, but specifically he talks about the sense framework, and that's basically how you set up a business that's going to make you free, right? And you read my notes from that book, and hopefully you'll read the actual book too. But just like don't just create a job for yourself. Create a business that's going to lead to freedom. And what I did is this right now. Like I am full-time book influencer. I have my private business mastermind on School. That's for other educational content creators who want to go full-time as well. So if you want to take all of the guesswork and uncertainty out of starting your own creator business and going full-time, working your way up to eventually 5K per month or even more, and quitting your job and going full-time, that's where you can get my personal help on that. But even if you want to go it alone, starting a business is one of like it's your best chance, like your best realistic chance of becoming free. Okay, so 29, prioritize sleep and being able to sleep. They say, a clear conscience is like the smoothest pillow or something like that. And like that is totally true. And just like being able to sleep at night and sort of like prioritizing it, one, like you should set up your day in a way that's optimized for sleep. So like no coffee past, I don't know, it's like 8 hours, maybe 10 hours, 12 to be safe from bedtime. Okay, so this is a common misconception, right? So it doesn't, like, it's not that coffee keeps you awake, but it's that it disrupts your sleep while you're asleep. So you'll get less sleep and you'll wake up more tired if you have that caffeine in your system. So it's not like you can drink coffee like 5 hours before bed and it's going to keep you up, although it might. Like the real danger that most people don't realize is that it's cutting into your restorative sleep. It's really damaging you. So just prioritize that. There's a great book. It's called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. He's one of the like world's foremost sleep experts, and like that book scared me straight about just the power of sleep and like what it influences and impacts. Spoiler alert, basically everything, every single physiological process in your body, every function, like physical, mental, emotional, like it's all regulated by sleep. And like if you're not getting sleep, you're living half a life. And yeah, it's important. Prioritize it. You will not regret it. Okay, so number 30, we're almost done. Never take advice from someone whose life you don't want. Like, so many people are going to have an opinion over what you should do and like what your life should look like. Again, I don't swear too much on this channel. Just forgive me this. Like, it's my birthday. Let me swear just like one more time. Fuck them. Don't let anyone fucking tell you how to live your one and only life. Like, if they won't die your death for you, then they have no business, like, telling you how to run your fucking life. Like, fuck them. Okay, you can tell that I feel pretty strongly about that. People are going to have all these opinions of what you should do. And unless they have something that you want, unless they've achieved something worthwhile, something that you want for yourself, then just don't listen to them. Find somebody who's done what you want to do and basically just like learn from them. Like ask them what they did and then just do those things. Like it just works. I know a few minutes ago I said question everything, but just trust me on that one. 31 is massive. So desires are like a major source of unhappiness. Like if you didn't want stuff, you would be so much happier than you are now. Naval Ravikant said it best himself, and there's an excellent book called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, one of my favorite books of all time. And he's basically like, we go around all day desiring stuff, and then we wonder why we're not happy. It makes so much sense. Like if you just go around wanting stuff all day, like by definition, if you want something, you are in a state of unhappiness. It's a chosen unhappiness, as Naval said. You're choosing to be unhappy until you get what you want. So just eliminate the desires. I know it's like easier said than done. If you basically reduced your desires to nothing, then the smallest good thing that happened to you would just be like an immense, insanely valuable gift. Now, number 32 is really important as well. Regret the right things. A lot of people think that they're going to regret the stuff that they did, but what people typically regret more is the stuff that they didn't do, the stuff that they missed out on, the shots that they didn't take. So don't worry so much about regretting things that you've done, although obviously, be mindful of that. But I'd be much more careful about regretting things that you've never done. The business you never started, the woman you never talked to, the job you never applied for. You'll regret it much more if you don't even try than you will if you do try it and it just didn't work out. Okay, so number 33, home stretch. We're almost to the present day. The little things are the big things. And this goes back to desires and happiness. Like the time spent with your family, sitting in front of a fire with a good book, like sitting outside with a good book, driving with a good audiobook. Okay, so a lot of my best memories have to do with books. But that being said, like the smallest possible things, like those are some of the things that you will look back on, and kind of like taking notes on every single book that I've read. Another thing that I accidentally started doing, and it sounds so lame when I say it out loud, but I keep a list of good times that I've had. Like it sounds so stupid, but I swear by this. Like I'm telling you, just try it. Mine is literally called my good times list. And every time, like I go to like an awesome party or even like international travel, times at the bar, like the entries on my good times list from just like times at the bar where I've just been like on my hands and knees laughing, just having the best time. And like those times, like they're so easy to forget or like not take note of in the moment. Like I record things that people have said that have just made me laugh so hard that I just couldn't breathe. And like just like so much like that, right? And like it all goes on my good times list and just record those things. And like the little things are the big things. Which leads me into the last one. Just take massive swings. Like nobody gets out of this alive. You just have this little sliver of time between two eternities, like the eternity before you were born and the eternity after your death. And you have this little tiny piece of time. And like it's all yours. Nobody can tell you what to do with it. The world will ask you who you are. And if you don't know, the world will tell you. That's Carl Jung. I'm on a roll. I'm just going to keep going. Just take massive swings. There's literally no downside. You will regret just not going for it. You literally cannot fail. Don't let up. Keep driving forward. Take everything you want in this life. Just do it. Go for it. Take massive swings. So that's some of the most important pieces of advice that I can give, to anyone younger than me, my 19-year-old self, if they would listen. Like if you do these things, you almost can't help for your life to go extremely well. And it makes such a massive difference in my own life. And so I hope it helped you as well. Now, I always love when people comment on my videos, but this one especially, like I really want people to comment on this one because I want your best life advice. If you're older than I am or like we're around the same age, what's the best advice that you can give to somebody younger than you, like a younger version of yourself or me? Like maybe you're 70, I'm 35. What would you tell me? Thanks for watching this video. I've got another one that you might like. It's called 10 Fascinating Books That Will Increase Your Intelligence. And always remember these two things. Bookmarks are for quitters, and even if nobody else in the entire world believes in you, I do.
I don't waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah.